All right, it is 6:26 and I will bring this meeting of the, oh, everybody's in? All right, it is 6:26 and I will bring this meeting of the Dunsmuir City Council back into order and do a quick report on the closed session items. We had 2 items, and for both items, direction was given to staff. And with that, we did not do the flag salute before the meeting to give everyone the opportunity to do so. So with that, we'll go into the flag salute. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. All right, and we have no special presentations or announcements tonight. So with that, we will move on to item number 4, public comment. This is a time for members of the general public to address the city council on any matters that affect the city. Everyone will have 3 minutes. I'll give a 30-second warning when your time is almost up. If you do have anything for either item number 10 or 11, which are old business and new business, I do ask that you hold your comments until that time, as there will be dedicated public comment for each of those 2 items. With that, we'll open it up to people in the room first, followed by people on Zoom. When it comes time to Zoom, please go to the reactions tab and raise your hand. That, if anyone so chooses, we do request that you state your name and address for the record.
Helen Cartwright, 4200 Pinewood Drive. So I am here because I was looking at your agenda, and for future agenda items, I did not see the creek. And from an email thread we had going around, I thought it was going to be on your March 20th agenda. Is that still going to happen? I guess that, okay. That was my main thing. I was thinking, as I was driving down here, it's kind of like an Agatha Christie book. All the people who've worked on getting this creek restored. And, you know, we've lost Cafe Madalena's, we've lost Pops, we've lost the Wheelhouse, we've lost Peter Arth, Pam Padula died. You know, everyone's just kind of falling by the wayside, and I'm just kind of feeling like I'm in an Agatha Christie book or something. Maybe I'm the last one to, you know, get murdered in the library or something. But so I'm glad. I hope it's going to be on your upcoming agenda at the next meeting. That's it.
All right, thank you. All right. Oops. Yep. Yep, I see that. All right, Alan, if you'd like to unmute yourself, I believe it is your turn. Are they muted? Is he muted on our end?
Alan, are you able to unmute yourself? He may be with a customer, actually.
Oh.
Now that I'm thinking of it.
Oh, is there anyone else who would like to make public comment this evening? All right. I do see a second hand raised. All right. Director Clother, if you'd like to make a public comment, you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the reasoning behind the tree removal at the top of Hedge Creek Falls Park. I just want to put in a request, if possible, that when things like this are in the works, if the city could give the public a heads up not after the fact, because people get really upset when creeks are turned off and trees are cut down and we've got no idea that it's coming. It just feels like a big blow to our morale. So I just hope that in the future, when work like this is going to be taking place, that's going to have kind of a major effect aesthetically on our town, that you would just, remember that these things actually matter really deeply to some of us here, and just keep us in mind and let us know that it's happening so we can prepare ourselves, and that so we can know the reasons why, and we can kind of like help others to understand why. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Alan, second chance. All right, I guess I'll have to swing by Al's on, oh, now the hand went down. Okay, all right, I am closing public comment for this evening unless there's anyone else who'd like to make public comment. All right. With that, we'll move on to council and staff comments. The sheriff is not here, or a representative from the sheriff's department is not here this evening, so we'll head on over to city manager Reef.
All right, Mayor and Council, I apologize, Kate. Yes, I'm aware that we missed that when we posted about the other projects, so we're working to resolve not doing that. So, Eric.
Sorry about that. If you didn't hear me, Kate, I'm sorry. So staff has been working, obviously, we've been cutting trees. They are working down in the park and removing some dangerous trees down there. We have a fire hydrant down there now. That was happened since the last meeting, so that was really quick and as painless as a project could ever go. It went really well. Other than that, staff's been spending a lot of time working. I've been working on budget and associated efforts with that, and moving forward some projects that are coming. That should have been coming up this year, but are now delayed a little bit. So other than that, I don't have anything else. It's been just a lot of meetings.
All right. We'll move on to council
I
comments.
have a quick question. Do we know the budget impact? Did we come in under budget for the fire hydrant?
The answer is yes, and I don't know how much, but we will know shortly.
All right, good job. Thank you.
All right. Well, since you asked the question, you also get to go first with your comments.
No,
Councilmember Bryan.
I have no significant comments this evening. Happy to move along.
Councilmember Lucchese.
I have none tonight. I do have a future agenda item that I will request later.
Okay. Councilmember Hubbard.
No comment.
I have no comments,
All right.
but I would like a future agenda
Also a
item as
future
well. Yep.
agenda item. All right. Second Saturday is coming up. Make sure you swing on by. They've got a lot of stuff going on throughout all of downtown, not just at Sam. And with that, we will move on to.
I have one to add. I forgot. We did meet with the Community Resource Center, and we're looking to do like a resource day for seniors in April. So look for that coming out through the Community Resource Center newsletter, and we will also co-post that for city on the city website.
And actually, before we move on, and feel free to correct me in regards to the creek. I know city staff was working on some of the logistics. I don't recall, and I apologize for this off the top of my head, if there was a specific date set for re-reviewing the item. I'll have to look at that. I'll have to go back and check. But
I can provide an update. I don't know that I'll have a full answer by then.
okay, sounds good. All right, with that, we will move on to committee reports. And with that, I'll hand it off to Councilmember Bryan, the Finance Committee Chair.
Yeah, Finance Committee met on Monday. Thank you to Finance Director Michelson, City Manager, and Dennis for all attending. We were able to welcome our new member, Alan Clother. We spent majority of the meeting discussing the city's audit numbers for the fiscal year 2023-24. So not the year we're currently in, but the one before.
Yes.
Things are, well, you know, that's kind of trailing back in time. So it was a whole different world back then in a lot of ways than it is now. But things are looking positive as far as the results of that year compared to the budget. Expenses are much higher than we were budgeting, but income is even higher. So things look like they're, you know, we're in a relatively stable position till we end up expending the resources on doing the public works building, which is, you know, it's good that it's working out that way. We're excited as a committee to move forward and discuss the budget more. We kind of did some preliminary discussion of budget process, but a lot of those numbers, you know, aren't quite ready yet. And then Finance Committee reviewed the City Council adopted, what do you call it, downtown revitalization
Yes, program.
the facade improvement, the planning permit and building permit subsidies. We'll know more as we get, you know, into the next 2-year budget, but especially spreading it across the 2 years, it does look as if initially that won't absolutely destroy us to budget that, because we don't know if it'll all get used up or not. If it does, it'll be a successful program. If it doesn't, it might be something we can afford to keep going. So the initial thoughts were that that's something we can take a chance on. So. All right, that's all.
I also wanted to add, I didn't mention this at the Finance Committee, but on my way to Finance Committee, I talked with downtown business owner who was a building owner who was very excited about the program. So, yeah. And were there any other committees that met since the last meeting? Nope. Okay. With that, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from February 20th, 2025.
Through the chair, I do have a comment on the minutes, page 6 of our agenda packets under item E. There's no motion. It just states that motion by Lucchese, second by Sebring, all in favor, motion passes. I'm just gonna request that the minutes be amended and tabled and brought back at the next meeting with the actual motion language.
Okay. Is there a second to table that? I'll second it. All in favor of tabling the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm just tabling it because I don't remember what my motion was, so we're gonna have to check the recording. But I just noticed there wasn't a motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which contains one item, the check register for 214 through 228.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda adopted. We have no public hearing tonight, so we'll move on to item number 10, old business, with which we have one item. The second reading of ordinance 578, revising Dunsmuir Municipal Code to align chapter 15.24.130 with current state law. All right, City Manager Reef, if you'd like to wait a second while the train goes by and then lead us off.
All right, Mayor and Council, so this is the second reading of the ordinance. I believe we probably should just read it for the benefit of the community and then look for a motion to adopt. An ordinance 578, an ordinance revising Dunsmuir Municipal Code to align chapter 15.24.130 with current state law. Whereas California Government Code Section 51179 requires that every city adopt an ordinance adopting state recommended fire hazard severity zones. And whereas the City Council recognizes that the current municipal code outlining this adoption process is no longer in alignment with the current state law. And whereas the City Council desires update municipal code to bring it into alignment with current state law. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Dunsmuir does ordain as follows. Chapter 15.24.130 of the Dunsmuir Municipal Code is amended to read as follows. 15.24.130 fired hazard severity zones. A, council member or city council is authorized to designate by way of ordinance fire hazard severity within 120 days of receiving recommendations from the state fire marshal in accordance with government code section 51179. B, the fire chief will review the state fire marshal's recommendation before the city council's designation and may choose to increase the fire hazard severity zone classification. C, within 30 days after receiving a transmittal from the state fire marshal that identifies fire hazard severity zones, the information shall be made available for public review and comment. D, the building official and fire chief shall enforce the provisions of Title 24, Chapter 49, California Code of Regulations within city council, adopted fire hazard severity zones as applicable.
All right, any questions? No. All right, seeing none, we'll move into public comment. Same rules as before, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Please limit all public comment to this particular item. If anyone in the room wishes to do public comment, we'll do them first, followed by Zoom, and I'll open this up to public comment. Once again, if you are on Zoom and would like to make public comment, please go to the reactions tab and raise your hand. Seeing no one, I will close public comment on this item. All right, any discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Motion.
oh,
Go for it.
I move we adopt ordinance 578 by title only.
You have to read the title.
All right, an
You don't have
ordinance,
to read the whole thing, you just have to read the title.
an ordinance revising Dunsmuir Municipal Code to align with chapter 15.24.130 with current state law by title only.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved. All right, with that, we'll move on to item number 11, new business, which has one item today, discussion on adding a stipend for planning commission members.
All right, Mayor and Council, this was an item that was brought up at a previous meeting to be brought forward for discussion to consider a stipend for planning commission members. We currently have 2 vacancies on our planning commission. We are a 7-member board. And with those 2 vacancies, it makes it very difficult to continue to meet quorum. And so the discussion tonight will be to discuss what possibilities it would be, or what it would look like, what a stipend would look like. Is it worth us to put a stipend in? And those kind of things. So I'm asking the council to consider a possible stipend. There are 2 ways to consider a stipend. 1, provide a monthly stipend, or 2, a per meeting stipend. Due to the nature of how planning commission has operated in the past with an average of number of meetings less than 12, staff finds it prudent that if the council decides to provide a stipend, that it should be on a per meeting attended basis, not on a per meeting that we actually have. And then consider reducing the planning commission. We could also consider reducing planning commission to 5 members. That could be discussed at a future meeting, or there's also the option to consider abolishing the planning commission and bringing those duties to the city council to be discussed at a future meeting. Just to give kind of a quick analysis in the staff report, that if we did provide $50, it basically costs the city $350 per meeting. And then that would cost approximately $4,200 a year. The only other appointed or elected official that receives a stipend is the city treasurer, and they receive a $50 per month stipend per city ordinance. So open for discussion.
All right, any
questions?
Questions or comments before we move into public comment? All right. I know, we'll probably have a discussion on amounts and frequencies and all that kind of stuff, but especially since we have a member of the planning commission here today, and hoping he does make some comments here, I would like, I'll open this up to public comment. Same rules as before, 3 minutes, 30-second warning, and please limit all comments to this particular item. All right. Is there any public comment on this item? All right, seeing none, I will close public comment.
Since I requested and suggested it, I do like the per meeting. That's what a lot of cities are moving to at this point, because if you don't attend, you don't get paid. Pretty self-explanatory. I would like to request the amount per meeting to be referred to the finance committee for a slight discussion on what that would look like. Granted, it's a pretty low cost item. I think it does help incentivize a little bit. I'm not supportive of abolishing the planning commission. I know some cities are going that direction. But I would like to also request that we do bring back that amendment to the municipal code on the outside city limits within sphere of influence item. I think we talked about that last time. I just wanted to make sure that gets on the books, and that's basically just to revise our municipal code to meet current Brown Act standards, which is you can have individuals outside city limits within the sphere of influence on the planning commission or any other appointed board as you see fit, as long as they are not the majority. And unfortunately, our municipal code holds us at 2, and that is not 3. So
Yeah,
2 is not 3.
thank you, agreed.
Yeah, that's my general thought process. I think whatever motivates people to get on those boards, it can be really intensive when we do have larger applications, when we are doing general plan updates. I think it's good to compensate people for their time.
And just to add, we have not received any applications since the publication 2 weeks ago. So.
I'll just say this, overall, I am in favor of a per meeting stipend. I don't think that we should do a per month stipend, especially if one of the main points, well, I feel like there's two main reasons to do a stipend. One is to encourage people to participate, and the other one is to encourage people to attend meetings. And if we do a per meeting one, that accomplishes both goals. So I'm definitely in favor of that. I'm fine with referring this over to the finance committee. But it's also a pretty low number, so.
I mean, as
Yeah.
the 2 members of the finance committee, do you care that much?
I appreciate the process. I'm personally in favor of, I actually like it a lot better. I was torn on the stipend until it became a per meeting stipend. And that seemed to be a lot more like incentivizes the correct behavior as well as.
Yeah.
Is that I do have one thought on like some language defining like regularly scheduled meeting or something of that. If they show up to multiple workshops as city councilors are known to do, to use like our dynamic, you can go to 3 meetings that aren't your city council meeting, maybe outline meetings of the planning commission or.
Yeah, and
Well,
and like we haven't had a planning commission yet this year, right? I think we have one scheduled for April, but I haven't had one yet. So I mean, there is that cost savings when we don't have the applications, we're not spending the money, right? And we typically cancel probably depends on the year, but sometimes 3 to 5 meetings a year.
Yeah, I think it's a good point too, because, when we start thinking about some of our other planning projects we've had in the past, we've had the COSMOD workshops that occurred outside of regular meetings. We had the ATP public engagement. I think I'd like to see a definition of what that is. I think if they have to hold a special meeting, yes, I think they should be compensated for that. But maybe if it is an event that is open to the general public, then maybe no. Although it's great if they go, I think it's really more of ensuring that the city is able to continue to do business effectively. And so the planning commission does serve a very important role.
Yeah.
What if we described it, what if we put it as any meeting where a quorum of the planning commission is required for the meeting to take place?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, because then that would cover everything that we needed to cover.
Yeah.
All right, then as far as the amount goes, my way of analysis, I think I can get more help with this board as opposed to finance committee. It should cover the cost of, say, a babysitter, childcare for going to the meeting. Would $50 do that in the current market for a 2-hour meeting, or just barely?
We need to refer to the people with
Okay.
children.
Then I would propose maybe we adopt it tonight. I think finance committee would be comfortable at this stage with that expense.
Well,
With this amount, I think it's.
I'd like to see the formal language come back, so I'd be happy to bring
Cool.
it back at the next meeting with the direction.
Cool, we'll talk about it in finance.
Okay. Yeah, if we're waiting till the next meeting anyways for the formal language, then.
Do
might
you
as well
want to
look at
give
it.
the historic district reps extra compensation? The ghost of Peter Arth is currently in my head. By the way, he's still alive. He's like perfectly okay. I
He's
just
doing-
saw
he's-
him.
he's
but,
doing
like,
well.
He lives rent free in part of my brain. And like, I don't know why that just came out of my mouth. That is historic district stuff, but I think it's just Peter possessing me.
Maybe you could offer
25 extra bucks.
$10 an extra or 20 extra. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty negligible, but I mean, they do have to deal with more and they are more engaged in that.
Give him 50
process.
bucks more. Bring it back. We can argue about it.
Well, if it's a per meeting thing, we gotta,
So yeah, if it's a historic district meeting, they would be compensated for that if they served on extra meetings or extra activities.
why don't
Yeah,
we-
we could just say the historic district committee members will be reimbursed for the historic district.
Yeah, well,
We will-
I mean, they're considered
Yeah.
delegates, right? So they don't
Mhm.
actually have a meeting
That's.
technically outside. What they would do is
They do extra work.
the planner
Yeah.
would send them an application for review and provide guidance on whether or not they are okay with it. And then it would it would either be approved or go through planning commission. And so there's an extra, like, so they're doing work whether there's meetings or not sometimes. And so maybe that is like, well, they get like a flat $25 a
Just
month
give
or
them an extra
something.
25, so they get 75 a meeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And even if they are doing extra work on the side, that should theoretically compensate for that. I mean, I think it incentivizes people to want to be the delegate and actually participate,
Yeah,
because we get to choose kind of who, we can always move it around. So if someone's not doing their duties, we can demote them back to a regular.
all right, well, we'll discuss that at finance committee. Get it back. or-
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, no. All right. Motion, yeah, tabled until, to come back with the official language and finance committee review.
And refer, yeah.
All right,
Referred, yeah,
thank you.
okay. With that, we'll move on to, well, yeah, it's just a discussion item, so we don't need to actually do action. With that, we'll move on to future agenda items. And I know we had two people. Sarah, if you'd like to go first.
I just wanted to address, I would also like to know or see, just get an update at some point on the Creek project.
Yeah, one of the items that, the future agenda item I am requesting is, we have talked about a utility bill assistance program for a while. I have taken it upon myself to do a little bit of research and put something together for the council's consideration. And so I would like to bring that back for an initial discussion at the next meeting if I do get a second or the mayor supports that. It would be called DUOP, because I was trying to get a nice acronym, but it would be the Dunsmuir Utility Assistance Program, basing it off of a number of other programs in California that are offered. And basically what it is, well, I won't discuss it. It's a future agenda item if you want it or not. I'll be
Yeah.
good.
I'm for it.
I'd like to have it on
Yeah.
on one, either next meeting or the meeting after.
I think
whenever it's
I
ready.
think we'll be
Yeah.
able to introduce it next meeting if we have the available time on it. I should
Yeah,
have
I would
enough.
just caveat with available time. Obviously, there's time at this meeting to do something like that, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
there might be things.
I don't
that
want to
have been-
take away from the Creek discussion.
Or things that have been waiting for, months to potentially get on it.
Well,
I
yeah,
have
let's
a-
just make sure that's in one of the next couple meetings.
And there
There's,
is-
there's already two other items that are pretty significant on there. One's
Okay.
cannabis ordinance revision discussion and adopt personnel policy.
Oh, yeah, so we can
And
put it on a
so-
future.
So it would probably be either first or second meeting in April, because we're starting to get into budget related items too.
Yeah.
So we can balance it out at the next,
And plus it
Yeah.
will need to go to finance
So,
committee.
did you get
There's an
the
element
The
to
sphere of
that.
influence rewording for the,
I did, you said, because I have planning commission makeup on there, I just added outside city limits to state where it's not the majority, as long as it's not the majority. I got the spirit.
yeah, okay.
I'll,
Might just
I'll
take
look at it
language
and
out.
all right, and then I
Yeah.
would like us, in the near future, doesn't have to be next meeting, but follow up on the code enforcement prioritization and kind of standardization of the process with our
with Curtis.
attorney, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll-
so probably be
I'll-
a closed session item,
I
but
can probably bring that back in first week of April.
cool, thank you.
All right, anything else? All right, meeting adjourned. Oh.